That's what I thought. I have cookies. You each get one cookie. And as I pass these out, who here had toast for breakfast? Keep your hands up. Who had a bagel? A muffin? Cereal? Pop-Tart? Pop-Tart. Who packed a Lunchable or a sandwich? Okay. Somebody with celiac disease couldn't eat any of that. So why don't you guys make sure the front row? I'll explain that.
Chips are gluten-free.
So, as those are getting passed around, if you just want to leave them up here. Again, I'm using this as my notes, FYI. But there are three things I'm going to talk about with celiac disease. Is what is it? Because a lot of people have no idea what celiac disease is. It kind of sounds scary. Then how are you diagnosed with celiac disease? And then what the treatment is for celiac disease. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder, which means that the body attacks itself, and it's caused by gluten. You all know if you take a piece of white bread and you crumb it up into a ball, it kind of sticks together. Gluten makes that happen. Gluten is a strand of protein, and it gets sticky and stretchy, and that's how your bread sticks together. When someone with celiac disease eats something that has gluten in it, their body creates antibodies, and it literally attacks itself. And it attacks the villi, which are in the small intestine, which sounds kind of weird, but those are little finger-like things, and they help absorb your nutrients. So, according to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Disease, people with celiac disease, if it's left untreated, can develop anemia, which is when you lack iron, and they can even develop cancer if it's left untreated. So that is a picture of what normal people's villi look like, and that's what a picture of someone with celiac disease who eats gluten looks like. It's completely flat, which means they don't work, they can't absorb the nutrients, which is why anemia, which is a lack of iron, is one of the common things. The Celiac Sprue Association says that these differences are very, very noticeable. There are two ways that you get tested for celiac disease. The first is a blood test. They will take a sample of your blood and look for different antibodies, and those who have celiac disease usually have a higher antibody count in their blood. Then, if you test positive for celiac disease through your blood test, you have to have a small intestine biopsy, which is when they actually go into your small intestine and look at the physical damage done to the villi. But according to Celiac Australia, you shouldn't just use the blood test to determine whether or not you have celiac disease. So you have to get a blood test, and then if positive for the blood test, and you have to go have small intestine biopsy, and then you can officially say, yes, I have celiac disease. But there is one small catch. According to Celiac Australia, you have to have 4 slices of wheat bread daily for 6 months if you've gone on a gluten-free diet. So say you figured out that you can't have gluten and you stop eating it. In order to be officially tested, you have to eat 4 slices of bread a day. And if you have celiac disease, that is a lot of bread because of the damage that does to you.
But that's it? That's all you eat? Or do you add that to
you
that?
add that too. No,
all at once or throughout the day? One?
Wouldn't matter.
Okay.
Because for a celiac, 1/48 of a slice of bread can damage them. So 4 slices, it's a lot of bread. And the symptoms are like cramping and bloating and indigestion and headaches and fatigue and like a whole list of things. So, and that's to say that even if you go through all the testing, you could still come out negative, but you can still have celiac disease and come out negative on the test. So not only did you eat 4 slices of wheat bread daily for 6 months, you don't have celiac disease and now you feel like crap. So that's usually no fun. But if you do get tested and you do test positive for celiac disease, what do? Usually you seek out a treatment because that's what you do when you figure out you have a disease and you try to figure out how to stop it or treat it. But the only treatment for celiac disease is a lifelong gluten-free diet. Okay? There is no drug you can take, there's no vaccine. You just can't eat gluten and then your body will slowly start repairing itself. There are the obvious things that have gluten, which is anything made with flour, wheat, barley, rye, and some oats. So there's bread, waffles, cookies, muffins, cereal, all this normal stuff that sounds really good. But then there's the not so obvious stuff like soy sauce has wheat in it, your makeup has wheat in it, salad dressings, red Doritos have wheat in it, but the blue Doritos don't, so you gotta watch out for that. And even things, if you're really sensitive, things that are processed in a factory that also processes wheat products can be cross-contaminated, which is why oats are often cross-contaminated, so a lot of celiacs can eat them. You can get affected by that too. There's also, if you live with somebody who has celiac disease, and your other family doesn't have celiac disease, they probably don't want to go on your crazy gluten-free diet with you. You have to take extra precautions at home, and this includes, for example, just to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for someone with celiac disease, they need their own peanut butter jar, jelly jar, knife, plate, and bread. Because if Allie made a sandwich with her normal peanut butter and her normal bread and spread the knife on there, got some more peanut butter because she didn't have enough, there are crumbs from her bread in my peanut butter. So if I took that peanut butter and put it on my gluten-free bread and ate it, I would get sick. So.
How bad though, Kate, with a small amount like that? I'm just curious. I mean, well, how?
It can be really bad because
Really?
one of my friends has celiac disease and she can't have anything. Like if you made her a hamburger and put it on a normal bun and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't use that hamburger. You can't just take the bun off and put it on a gluten-free hamburger bun."
Wow.
If she has completely. So she has her own peanut butter, jelly, knife, plate, cupboard, toaster, oven, like her own separate, pretty much kitchen and her own food that you can't touch with other food. So it's a pretty big deal. There are a lot of other things to watch out for too, and I'm just going to click this link because I didn't feel like, oh no.
You should click it.
I am clicking it.
It's on the left side of the bottom part of the mouse.
I am clicking it.
Okay. There you go.
There we go. This is just a list of everything that has gluten in it that you need to watch out for, just to give you some idea. And then, these are things that might be contaminated with gluten depending on how they're processed. So you have to watch out for all these things. Have you ever read the ingredients list of things and see like natural flavoring or artificial colors? Yeah, that's on this list too. Let's see.
You're not even halfway on that page yet.
I opened a lot of them. Okay, here we go. So it's very sensitive, so eating out can obviously be kind of a big deal. But there are restaurants that have special gluten-free food. Wendy's chili is gluten-free. Ruby's Tuesdays will bring your hamburger without the bun, which may not be strictly celiac, but someone with a gluten intolerance, which isn't as severe, could do that. Cottage Inn has really, really, really good gluten-free pizza, and I know it's 100% gluten-free because my friend went in and asked, how do you make this pizza, and watched them make the pizza. It comes in its own separate tin, the crust does, and it never touches the place where the other crusts happen, and it never touches the grate where the other pizza hits. So it never touches anything that the meat pizza touches, so it is gluten-free.
How much does that cost compared to normal?
It's about yay big, and it's like $15
Okay.
instead of your yay big pizza.
So you are
it's
paying a
$5.
little bit more, yeah.
It
but-
is a little bit more, and it's like a thin crust, so you don't get the big fluffy crust. It's kind of depressing. Domino's also claimed to offer a gluten-free pizza, but we'll figure it out. The American Celiac Alliance went in to test them to see if it was truly celiac safe, and they found that it was not. It was cross-contaminated when they baked it in the oven and during the prep. It got cross-contaminated, so they were labeling it as gluten-free, and it wasn't gluten-free. So celiac is kind of a big deal. It's a lot more common than people think it is. It actually affects 1 in 130 people, and a lot of people are misdiagnosed because there's a long list of symptoms. But to sum it up, celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder caused by gluten, meaning the body attacks itself. Diagnosis is a blood test followed by a small intestine biopsy, and the treatment is a strict, lifelong gluten-free diet. So celiac disease is not your ordinary allergy. Does anybody have any questions? So, you're probably wondering,
I have another question.
I have a question. Yeah.
How old were you when you figured out that you had it?
I don't have celiac disease, I just have a gluten intolerance, so I can eat some gluten and I'll live. I don't have severe but it was probably when I was like 12-ish that I figured out that I can't eat it.
Okay.
So you're probably wondering why I fed you cookies. They were in fact made gluten-free and made with chocolate chips that say gluten-free on them, and I checked, they are gluten-free, so. You ate a gluten-free cookie, did it taste normal-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are gluten-free things. It's King Arthur, it's probably the best gluten-free one. So.
Well done.